weekly Instagram Live pro player interview. And as some of you may have seen on my Instagram profile, this week I am having the pleasure of interviewing Zoran Primorac, which is one of the legends of table tennis. Let me know if you guys can hear okay. I've started using this this headphone and mic to try and improve the sound quality, and that seemed to work well last time, so just make sure you let me know. And I'm just going to throw a little note in here, live with Zoran Primorac. All right, let me see if I can pin that. There we go. All right, so now I just have to make sure that he can get in. The man of the hour for this week. Hey.
Hey, man. How
are you, champion? I'm good. Every day gets better.
Yeah, you look great. You look younger and younger.
Now,
yeah.
No, well, I don't know about younger and younger, but now that I'm sleeping better.
After 2 months of quarantine, I think you look fresh now.
I think I look better now than I did when it started, to be fair. I have some pretty good questions for you today, I think. We're going to get into the meat of your career.
You were taken by surprise because you didn't send me the questions, huh? Good.
Yeah.
This is
okay. Are you ready?
Yeah. Start.
Okay. All right. The first one is about growing up in Yugoslavia and how the time for table tennis was there when you were growing up, what your practice schedule was like, who your main practice partners were back then, and I guess the beginning of your career.
Yeah, actually I started to play in Zadar. This is one small city in Dalmatia in Croatia. We have as you know, we have a beautiful coast. We are a very touristic country, and then it's the middle of Dalmatia. It's a city known for basketball, but I was not that tall. I was like 180. I was 185, and then it was not enough to be a basketball player. And then I joined my father. He worked in same company with the table tennis coach. Actually, maybe you know, it was the father of Mario Amižić. He was famous coach in Borussia. This coach of Samsonov, of Roscoe Fetzner, and he was his father was my first coach, and after his son Mario took over. And I think in ex-Yugoslavia, table tennis was very popular because we had famous names from past like Šurbek, Stipancic, even before the Dolinar. I don't know if you remember them, Kalinic. And they are all world champions.
I remember.
Yeah, they were all world champions. And the system of practice was quite good. It was like they call it Yugoslavian School of Table Tennis, and we had everything organized well. Mario was young coach, but he was very motivated, and he made many new ideas to how to practice with us. And it was very good. I was from the beginning in the national team of ex-Yugoslavia as a cadet, and after junior, and after I was a junior, and I joined the Yugoslavian senior team. And it was like really, and practice schedule was actually what made us difference from the others. During the summertime, many athletes didn't practice in Yugoslavia before everybody went to the seaside for 3 months, holidays, swimming, And despite we lived in the seaside, at the seaside, actually we practice every day. And this made us the difference, because after in September when new season started, we were much better from our guys that we competed in June or May.
There you go. That's some advice for everybody who's watching. No more trips to the beach. If you want to get good at table tennis, to practice in the summer.
Yeah, this was a winning formula.
So tell us a little bit more about how old were you when the war started, and what kind of impact did that have on your table tennis career? Obviously, everything was separated, and you ended up playing for Croatia.
Yes, I mean, 1991 in June, all Croatian sportsmen decided not to play anymore for Yugoslavia because we. In 90s, yeah, we wanted to play for Croatia, and then Croatia was not recognized, and this was a big problem for us because we couldn't play international, and it was really very hard moment for me because I was in the middle of my career. I was really progressing. I was already Olympic medalist, one of the few guys they thought I would be a future champion, but suddenly, I couldn't practice. I was in the shelter. I didn't know what's going on with my career. But at the end of the day, I was not that important as my fellow Croatians because the war was in Croatia, and then people didn't think about sport. It was just to try to defend our country and try to get the independence. This was the main goal of all sportsmen, to help the Croatia to get independence. And one of the important things what all the sportsmen did when we were recognized and we played when recognized in the world as a country, then we played all over the world, telling the truth what's going on in Croatia about the war and everything. It was very big task from the all Croatian athletes to spread the message all over the world what was going on in Croatia. But it was very hard. But after you get some, you are more patriotic, you are more emotional, and then it gives you some extra
something to fight
power.
for.
Yeah, and then extra power to show that we from Croatia, to win the first medal for Croatia was really a great experience for me.
Okay, the next question's tough as well. There are a lot of tough ones. It's kind of connected to the first one. One of the biggest impacts of playing for Croatia and the split of Yugoslavia for you was the end of your doubles partnership with Ilija Lupulescu. You won a silver at the 87 World Champs, a gold at the 88 Olympics. A silver at the 88 Olympics, and you won gold at the European Championships in 1990.
Yes.
Did you feel like the two of you were robbed in a way of potentially having a lot more career milestones? How did you feel about that at the time? I mean, obviously you just said that, there were more important things going on, but it's something you must have looked back on quite a few times during your life and felt that, quite an unfortunate thing for you two to be split when you were such a good doubles partnership.
Yeah, as I said before, during the war, people lost their relatives, their sons, wives, husbands, and then, I lost a double partner. This is the minimum I could lose. But anyway, I was during the wartime. I was always good friend with Lupi. I call him Lupi, Lupulescu. Lupi, he's a really good friend of mine, and and it was never a question about some political dispute between us because he understood my point, and it's true that we had a great career in front of us. We could win many medals and Olympics probably in our future. But as I said before, this is the small thing I lost, and I think I can live with that. It's no problem because Lupi and me, we were really one of the best doubles in the world at that time, and people really admired our achievements. And it was a really big pleasure for me. I learned a lot from him. He was a little bit older, and this knowledge what Lupi gave me playing as his double partner helped me after to be a better single player.
I've never seen him play. Even since I came to the US, he was like one of the players I really wanted have opportunity to see. And I noticed a lot of the time, I don't know whether it was killer spin, but somebody kept entering him in like the US Nationals and the US Open and the Olympic trials, but he never played them. So I've never met him personally, but the number of stories I've heard about him even since I came to the US is crazy.
He was one of the most talented guys in the world. Maybe I will say Waldner, Lupulescu, Samsonov, and maybe I would say Karakashevich with such a good feeling for the ball. and also, I know that you are left-hander, and I think you will really enjoy to play with Lupi because he has a similar style. And his touch for the ball, it was incredible. And really, it's pity you didn't see him live playing, but you could see many. I think there are still some matches on YouTube.
Yeah, there's quite a few. Yeah. Okay. One of your greatest career achievements is winning 2 men's World Cups. So you won in Guangzhou in 1993 and Nîmes in 97. You beat Wang Tao and Kong Linghui. Do you, over the course of your whole career, consider those to be your greatest career achievements? And what did it mean for you at the point in your career that you were in to win the men's World Cup?
Chinese, they have 3 big tournaments they really admire and respect. This is to become the world champion, Olympic champion, and World Cup champion. This is 3 big titles for them, and of course, to be Olympic champion and world champion is higher and it's better. But of course, I will not underestimate my World Cup titles. Plus, I won in Nîmes without losing 1 set during the competition.
That I didn't know. Wow.
Yeah, it was really. We played the group stage. I didn't lose any set, and after in the quarterfinal, semifinal, and final, this was really maybe I played my best table tennis that time. It was maybe one of the best tournaments of my life. Also in Guangzhou '93, I would say I was underdog, and Croatia is still a fresh country, recognized in the world, and '93 winning World Cup in China, it was a really big thing for us in Croatia, and I got really big publicity about that.
Cool. So 93 was your year of fame.
Yeah.
This one's a little bit interesting. So you won 4 singles bronze medals at the European Championships and 2 silvers, and that was just in the singles. You made it to number 2 in the world. That was your highest world ranking. Did you ever feel like there was more that you could have done during your career to reach world number 1? Or did you feel that you gave everything and, the players in your time were such great players? Did you think there was... obviously, you don't have any regrets about your career because you achieved an incredible amount. But, in hindsight, maybe later on in your career, do you feel there was more that you could have done or you could have achieved in your career? Maybe, to become European champion or world champion or world number 1?
I will give you some exclusivity now, because actually in the end of 1997, I won China Open, World Cup, and Austria Open, 3 tournaments in a row. And by the points, because it was a different ranking, I was world number 1. I was in front of, I don't know how many points, in front of Samsonov. But this was one crazy thing with the rules in Europe. And if you want to play European top 12, you have to play 2 tournaments in Europe from September until December. And then I was obliged, because I played only Austria, I was obliged to enter the Swedish Open. And this was my 4th tournament in a row in 4 weeks. And I was completely dead. And the difference from this last ranking before, it was if you lose against a lower ranked player, you lose the points. Not like yeah. And then because of that, I wanted to play top 12. If I cancel if I cancel the Swedish Open, I was officially world number one. And it was the end of November. I think the last week of November, I think I played the Swedish Open. I lost second round to Matthew Side. You remember Matthew Side?
Chopper. Yeah.
Yeah, I was excellent player against Chopper. I never lost him first, last, and never again against him. But I was so tired, and I lost this match. And then Samsonov passed me for a few points because of my loss against Matthew Side. This was a little bit I regret because I was a little bit naive and stupid, and in the end of the day I didn't play this top 12 because I canceled it.
Oh really?
It was so crazy. Yeah, but I agree with you. There is small regret. I could say that at least I could be the European champion once because I had few chances, especially against Carlson in final in Bremen 2000. I was top favorite. Also in the World Championships in Göteborg '93, I was in semi-final. I was leading 2-1 against Garcia, and I had really good chance to win. Also in Olympics '92, I had a good chance to win the medal in singles. There are some regrets, of course. Maybe I was too hot. I was too keen. I was too keen to prove to Croatia, and I was very emotional. I wanted these medals, these gold medals, so much, and maybe I was maybe not calm in this crucial moment as I should be. And also, okay, I had good coaches during my career, I have to admit that, but none of them, they were like experienced coaches. They could give me like ex-top players. They could give me really like a piece of advice. I will give you one example for Cilic when he won in tennis, when he won the US Open. His coach was Goran Ivanišević. And in these crucial moments when you are about to winning the big titles, then you need this piece of advice from an expert who had experience to say, hey, don't do this. And these small things can make you champion. It's really, I spoke with the coach of Tsanjike, and he's a good friend of mine. And when you see Tsanjike, he looks like a mental beast, like he's really mentally strong. But he explained me his conversations with him during the World Championships and Olympics. I mean, he was like crying like little baby, out of confidence. You have to really find good words for this, because we athletes, there are few Michael Jordans. I mean, I watched all The Last Dance, and there are few people like him. They are really unique, like Muhammad Ali, but most of the others, they are humans. You know what I mean? Even Michael Jordan showed that he is human in many occasions. You know what I mean? When they said 45 is not like 23, when he changed number of his T-shirt.
Okay, the next question is about the Olympic Games. You played in 7, so you hold the joint record for having competed in 7 Olympic Games, from the first one in 1988 through to 2012, when you were you 43 in London?
Yes.
Is there any particular special memory that stands out for you from, playing? Most people can't even imagine playing 1 Olympic Games. So playing 7, you must have an incredible number of memories. Is there one or two in particular that really stand out for you as being particularly special?
Okay, all Olympics are special because all Olympics are unique. And I can tell you, everyone, all of them, they have some unique things. 88, my first Olympics, I was really impressed by all the other athletes. I was impressed to be in Olympic Village, to be among all these top stars, the idols and everything. And in the first Olympics, I won the medal. It was huge. And after the 92 Olympics, Croatia for the first time, at the Olympic Games. I represented Croatia. It was so emotional. It was like really incredible feeling. I wanted so much to win the medal for Croatia at that time. And I was so close. I lost to Kim Tak-so in quarterfinal, but it was really, really close match. And then Sydney Olympics 2000, I was a flag bearer in opening ceremony, and that was like really. This was really like great emotional thing for me. Acceptance from all the other sportsmen that I was the guy who represented them on the opening ceremony. This was really like a big honor for me. Also, Beijing Olympics 2008 was really, I played very good in home of table tennis, reaching quarterfinal, playing crazy matches against Michael Mays, losing quarterfinal against Jorgen Persson, but it was really nice match.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's also London was a great Olympics, despite I didn't play well, but I really enjoyed the Olympics. And I mean, also I was pretty close to qualify for Rio. I was not that far, and Brazil is one of my favorite countries, and I was really hot to play in Rio. But I said all Olympics are special, and I have from each of them I have special memories.
Here's this one is another strange question. So during the height of your career, you played with players that are largely regarded as the legends, ITTF legends of table tennis now, players like Waldner, Persson, Jean-Mi. Did you feel that you got the recognition that you deserved for your career achievements? Or did you ever feel like in your career for what you achieved that you were overshadowed by some of the other players of that era?
You know, when I was a young kid, for us, the Swedes, even in our junior days, like Waldner, Persson, I mean, they were like, all of them, you wanted to get recognition from them first. And then when you start, first they don't even say hello in the dining area or in the hall. And then when they see you playing better, then after they say hello to you, then they slowly started to see that you exist in the world of table tennis. This is the first step. And after, of course, they don't allow you in this group of exclusivity, you know. And then when you beat them a few times, then after slowly they accept you that you are up to par to them, and then they invite you to their company. And this is for me one of the nicest accomplishments, that when all these top stars from my career, I mean, I played against Goya Hu, I played against Caijian Hu, I played against them also. I played against Gruba, Xie Saike, I mean, all these old guys. And I mean, so many Chinese players, they started and stopped playing table tennis. I was still playing, you know what I mean?
You survived.
Yeah, I survived. But I don't say I feel I'm up to par to them. I'm their league. You know what I mean? I feel like, okay, of course. I mean, everybody accept that Waldner is one of maybe the greatest of all time, and I don't feel. I'm not said that I'm overshadowed by the Waldner. Right. I mean, I was really like, it was my privilege to play in his time. Like for the others, they played during the Michael Jordan time, you know, like Reggie Miller, like they could compete against the GOAT, you know, the greatest of all time. Yeah. Or like in tennis, the people are fighting against Roger, against Nadal. I mean, I think for Djokovic, it's really great pleasure that I have nothing against Roddick or I don't know who else, but I mean, to play with the Sampras, Agassi, Federer, Nadal, I think this is a privilege. I had the privilege to play against the best Chinese in the world, best Europeans of all time. And these people made me better too, because if they were not that good, I think because I was with Jean-Mi in the same club, and playing with him in the same club, helped me tremendously in my career. I mean, we push each other to the limits, and he helped me a lot to improve in my career. And it's okay, but if someone has one medal more or one title more, okay, maybe they will say he is a little bit better than me. But I don't see that I'm overshadowed by the others. I mean, they all deserve their part of all this part of the glories they have. All of them, they deserve it. I would say like this.
That's a good answer. Maximum points for that.
Yeah.
The next question I have, and I've spoken to some of the older players before from previous generations. A lot of people talk about there being no money in table tennis and, table tennis not being a real professional sport, things like that. But I know in previous times there were a lot of leagues, like I know you played the Japanese Super Circuit, which I heard, paid reasonably well, and there were experiences for you to play in China. Did you feel that your table tennis career as a player treated you well, and that there were actually opportunities for you to really make a comfortable living out of being a table tennis player? Because, for me, I feel like there's a lot of misconception around whether table tennis players can earn money in the sport.
I'm pretty much happy how much money I make during my career, because I have a lot of friends that are Olympic champions in other sports. I will mention the swimming, wrestling, judokai, shooting. What else? I mean, and they are great sportsmen, and they have a problem to survive. I mean, they have really a hard time now. And as I see, the table tennis it's a global sport, but we don't bring so big attention to the media, and we are not like top tier sport like tennis, basketball, and football. That means I'm pretty much happy. And I mean, I have a lot of tennis friends, and we speak a lot. I spoke a lot with Ivanišević, with Ančić, Ljubicić, Čilić, and they told me, we always speak a little bit about money, how much money they make. We compare top 50, top 100 in the world. And they told me, okay, maybe the prize money of tennis, it's much higher, but they have to pay everything. They have to pay their coaches, they have to pay their travel, they have to pay everything. I mean, and then they have to pay tax on this money, which is not, okay, the table tennis players, they pay tax. But in the end, the costs are much, much higher. And then in the end of the day, the netto income is almost the same, top 50 in the world. Okay, a little bit. But because table tennis players, we don't have any expenses. Your federation, I speak about, I don't know how it's in the United States, but I will say the majority of European countries, Asian countries, everything is covered by your federation. And everything what you earn, it's your net money. Plus you play in the clubs, which is quite good money. You have a sponsor's contract, which is for you. And plus the prize money, which is not high, but at least everything is for you. And coach is paid, masseur is paid, physical coach is paid, all the tricks are paid, preparation training camps are paid. I mean, we don't have to complain. We don't have to complain that much. And as you probably heard, that the World Table Tennis, the new tour will come out from the 1st of January, and they promised it to be almost double price, at least double prize money as it was last year's. That means the players will have opportunity to make money, but I will not say that table tennis players are underpaid.
Cool. I have a couple more questions before I throw it out to whoever's watching. So, after you retired from playing, you became the team coach for UMMC in the Russian and European Champions League. This is the same club that you played for in your playing career? right?
Yes.
Back in the mid 80s.
2008, I signed for this club. 2008.
Do you feel like you've come kind of full circle now? You know, back to your roots almost. Maybe you can tell people a little bit more about how things were then when you were playing for the club and how things are now as the coach.
Yeah, I mean, it was very smooth transition for me because all the athletes and especially table tennis players, they have a problem of transition because then when you're an athlete, then you know only how to play table tennis, and it's if not a few of them they finish the universities, colleges, and then after they have the skills to do something else. And I signed after Olympics 2008 in Beijing. I signed with this club, and in that time everybody was afraid to go to Russia. Some of my friends, they are now in Russia for many years. They said to me, "Oh, are you crazy? You will not get your money." I said, "I'm not worried. I mean, Russians, they are serious. This is serious country. They will not play with such a small money to lose the image in the world." And I was pretty much confident that everything will be fine in Russia. And then easy to see that many top players from all over the world they came to Russia and they are keen to play in Russia. Unfortunately, there is only two clubs that can pay quite good money. It's Gazprom and my club.
Orenburg, yeah.
We played quite well. We won 3-4 times Russian championship, beating the Gazprom in final. They were on paper much better than us, but we fought them very hard, and unfortunately we didn't win the Champions League, but we were close a few times. And in that time while I was playing, I was coaching at the same time. It was like natural transition that from as a player I started to coach them a little bit, and then they offered me, "You would like to be a coach of the team?" And then I was coach, and after they asked me, "Do you would like to be some kind of manager to organize a team, to speak with the players?" And I said, "Okay, I can do that." Then I'm like, it's really like transition from strictly playing to the management, I will say. And I find it very interesting. It's very excited to be on the other side of the table.
The other side,
yeah, and it's funny. It's funny. It's completely different thing. It takes you much more emotionally than I thought, because when you play when you're a player, you play your match, you finish, and after you relax. But as a coach, you have to prepare everything before match. During the match, you have to be engaged in every single match, every single point. It takes a lot of energy, and and it's really like sometimes before I didn't realize how coach is important in table tennis and in all sports. But when you became some kind of coach, then you realize they are overshadowed by the athletes, which is, I think, not fair, because they are making the great deal in sport, and they are really like very, very important for every player during their career.
It's a good piece of wisdom. I know you said the transition was, a little bit more drawn out for you, and it was quite a smooth transition, but did you find it difficult to let go of your playing career? I know this is for me now, I just turned 30, so I'm in a very strange phase right now. Obviously, for me, if I play for New Zealand, I have to pay for everything myself, and there's part of me that still wants to play and be out there, and obviously you played international a lot, and you experienced everything that you might want to experience, but did you find it difficult when you got to that transition point where you started thinking, okay, it's time for me to stop playing now?
Yeah, for us as a sportsman, as a table tennis player, it's very comfortable that you follow the daily routine every day, every month, every year, and then you have really no problem to organize your day. Everything is fixed, everything is organized. People are, where you will be in the next few months, few days, 6 months, everything is planned. And then suddenly you say, "Whoa, I will have, I will stop this kind of life, and then I have to organize myself." And also, if I don't practice, the coach will call. Many coaches will call me, "Zoran, what's going on? Did you sleep well? Did you do this? Did you make stretching?" And when you stop playing, then people will not call you anymore. Like you're not only beside your friends, but I mean, and it's transition for many athletes is very, very, very hard, and also. In these days, people they understood the dual career education during the sport career. It's very important because career cannot last forever. And imagine if you get injury. I mean, then after you have to stop. And there are not so many places to be coach. You know what I mean? There is only a few of them, and there are many players. And it's problem also that many athletes they know only to play their own sport. And they are not. They don't have other skills in normal life, and it's not easy. Actually, during my career, I was always engaged. I will not say the sports politics, but I was always in some kind of athletes commission. I was always I was studying during my career, and even now, when I was a little bit older, I did my master, and I thought that education is very, very important for myself. And now I see that the education helps me a lot in my post career, and I will really encourage all the athletes to think about this, because when you are 40, 50, then maybe it will be too late. And and we are spending so much time on stupid things during the day. You know what I mean? You can. I mean, I met how many. You can have always 2 hours to study during the day. No matter how busy you are, you can play video games. You can surf on internet. You can practice, but still you can have 2 hours of studying every day. And this is, I think, very important, and it's crucial for all the athletes that they think about their education, about their career. It's very important.
Ironically, you mentioned Athletes Commission, which brings it to my last question. So in 2018, you became chairman of the ITTF Athletes Commission. Which is something personally I'm very grateful for, because that's how we met. What do you feel is the most important focus for you with the Athletes Commission, and what are your main goals in leading this Athletes Commission? I know we've been together for almost, I guess, 2 years now. Has it been 2 years? Not quite. 1 year. 1.5.
I don't know that.
Losing track of time.
I don't know that everybody knows that you are also a member of the ITTF Athletes Commission. Maybe I should say that you are the member of the Athletes Commission.
I'm the secretary.
You are very valuable Athletes Commission member, and helping the chair a lot. I should say this. No, I mean, my goal is. It's many of the athletes they don't know about us. They didn't hear about us. I mean, we are there to represent them, and it's very important that the voice of the athletes is heard in governing bodies. And my goal is really that people start to think that we could help them. We are there for them, and as you see how many conference calls we had during the COVID time, and we were really trying to help the athletes to help for their prize money, to have a better conditions during the tournaments, that they pay less accommodation costs when they are playing, and many things we have on our plan, and I think it's possible that we make this better. We have very good members in the Athletes Commission. They are very motivated, and I think we will be able to achieve our goal. And this is that the voice of the athletes will be heard in the ITTF governing bodies, and then the athletes will be well represented by us. And this is my goal. And one time when I will finish my term, my goal is that me as a chair and you as all my members that will be proud of the things what we did for them during our mandate. It's not easy. We are fighting against the fierce enemy, but I don't say we have to fight. We should collaborate with them. We should express our thoughts. We should express our ideas. We should express our concerns. And we are on the same boat. And as everybody said, athletes, they are the core of the sport. Also, IOC is telling to all the NOCs and IFs. That means we just have to fight. And I'm pretty much sure that the athletes will have more and more power inside the sport. It's inevitable. It's for sure, because through the media, through the, let's say, Instagram, the athletes, they have a really, really strong position inside sport, and then they cannot ignore that. And I will tell you that athletes will get much more important than it was before in the world of sport.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge, but definitely for me, being stuck at home by myself, I've enjoyed having the calls more often. So hopefully we can carry on with that. Definitely have our work cut out for us. Okay, that's the end of my questions. I'm just going to put a little penned note here to see if anybody else has any questions that's watching. And we'll see if I can do it. There we go. So if anybody has questions, now's your chance to ask. This might be your only opportunity to. Not often you get to interview legends, and you. That's okay. There you go. How often should a player change coaches?
Whoa, this is a good question. How often? Okay, when you lose the trust between each other, like you don't trust your coach anymore, for sure this relationship is not healthy as it was before. It's very important, and you should be lucky that you get a good coach from the beginning. It's very hard that coach is with you during whole your career, because when you're a cadet, junior, then senior, it's a really long time. And often the coaches who are working with the young athletes, maybe they are not specialized in the elite coaching, you know what I mean, right. to be the coaches for Olympics and World Championships. I mean, it's important that you build the trust between the coach and you, that you trust the coach. It's very important that also you don't follow the coach as like a sheep. You trust him, but always
make your own way. Yeah,
ask the questions. Coach should explain you why he's doing this exercise to you, why you are practicing this week, what a coach has to achieve. Like this, you will understand better table tennis. Because if you follow as a sheep, this will not stay in your brain if you don't ask the questions. But you don't have to be, excuse my language, pain in the ass for the coach. But you should.
You can say worse than that if you
want. you can challenge a little bit the coach. It's no problem, because like when you challenge the coach, you're improving himself too. Because then after you don't take it for a grant that just he's there, he can coach you, and not you will never challenge him. You can sell. He can sell you anything. You know what I mean? He has to be really prepared for every practice for you. And
right.
I mean, if you're happy with one coach, for sure you should stick with him. But if it's not going well, I mean, you lost confidence on him, or he lost confidence on you, then you could change. But in Europe and in Asia, it's very hard to change coaches, because often they are national team coaches, or they have a contract with the federation or with National Olympic Committee. And then you have to, if you cannot change it, then you try to to live with that and try to make easy living for the coach. Because if you start to fight against coach, he is a dominant position than you, then you will lose
then you're out. Yeah.
Then you're out, yeah.
That was a good first question. What else do we have? this is like the one. This, I always say that if there are no questions at the end, it means that I asked really good questions and you answered them really well. From your point of view, how was the change of the plastic ball material in 2014?
This is also a very good question, because with the plastic ball we lost a lot of spin, and then the players who they were dominant physically, that were really strong with the less technique, they got advantage with that. The first excuse was that the celluloid balls were flammable, that you were not able to transport them in the planes, and that's really to be forbidden. That's the reason why they moved to the plastic balls. But the plastic balls still, they don't have the same quality as the celluloid balls, and they have much less spin. You're losing I would say the finesse of the table tennis. People are like, you see all the table tennis players have a similar style. Because when I was playing, we had so many different kind of the players. It was very interesting to see the Gassian, Waldner, Save. The Chinese, they were also different. Now all the Chinese, they play exactly the same, just but on the different levels. But they are almost all the same. And now all the European and the worldwide players, they are trying to copy them. And
you can't beat them. You can't beat them playing that way. It's impossible.
You can't be original.
I had this conversation with Jorgen in I guess it was in Dusseldorf a couple of years ago. I did an interview with Jorgen Persson, and we talked a little bit about this and how everyone's kind of conforming to the same style of trying to play strong off both sides. There's no short pips pen holders. There's not even any defenders, really. There's not so many choppers left. Maybe it was good timing for your career. You know, at least there were still some choppers around when you were still playing.
We lost diversity. We lost diversity of the athletes. You know, I mean, they're all same. Like you have a feeling that they're all coming from the same school. You know what I mean? And it's a little bit boring. And also with when the bad speed gluing, the rackets are a little bit different. You know what I mean? And I don't like them. I would say that that one of the options we could help the table tennis if we increase the net, and then if we put a little bit net higher, maybe we can avoid this banana flick third deadly
big power attack.
And then maybe we could have longer rallies. And this is because at least we should try, because if you don't try, we'll never see if this is one of the options, because now the rallies are all the same. The points are not longer as it was before.
I mean, I used to watch a lot of table tennis, probably up to 2012. I was watching. If the World Tour was on, I was always watching. But I feel in the last 5 or 6 years, I don't really. If I'm watching table tennis, I'm watching you, or I prefer to watch the old videos. I don't really, there's only so much of the same thing that you can watch over and over again. And it's funny that you talk about the higher net, because I think the Swiss Table Tennis Association made some kind of proposal for it for the AGM, the ITTF AGM. It must have been maybe 5 years ago now. But I don't know what happened with that.
You know what is the problem? Because we are used to this height of the net, and then it takes time that you adjust, because you made your skills, you made the contra toe spin based on this height of the net. But just if you trust in this change, you should give the players time to adjust. And I'm pretty much sure, because they said, we made some testing, and then we didn't see that it's the rallies are longer than it was with the lower net.
Right, but you need more testing.
But you need time, because people, they will say, if you miss 3 or 4 times the contra top spin, then after you say, okay, I cannot play the same. I have to change. I have to adjust. Like we adjust with the new gluing, we adjust with the new plastic ball. We adjust. I mean, you need time. And I think for the table tennis could be better to play with a higher net. I'm pretty much sure because banana flick it's very, very strong weapon in table tennis, but it's unbelievable boring weapon. You know what I mean? Doesn't brings anything to the sport, because I mean this banana flick will bring more sponsors, bring more spectators to the arenas. I think not. Spin game.
The funniest thing about that is that when I was in Ostrava in the Czech Republic, before I played the World Championships, I think Corbel, when I was having dinner with him, told me at one point that even though the banana flick helped him a lot in his career, that maybe now he regrets it a little bit because it kind of ruined the game for, all the old players of being too aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, this banana, you skip the whole part of the game, short flip with normally forehand flick no one is using. That everybody is running with backhand banana all over the table, and after it's like a kick with backhand, and after you kill with forehand. And
I find also last 2 or 3 years, there are a lot more players doing half long. It's always serving half long or serving loose, and then the other person opens and then it's finished straight away.
Yeah, I mean, now, and the people adjust because now they're afraid of this banana flick, and then after they serve long, half long to avoid this banana flick, and after it's easier with this plastic ball with less spin. If someone starts if they start with the weak topspin, after the counter topspin, you finish the point. This was also one part how the players adjust. You know what I mean? But I mean, we need a little bit more diversity in sport, because now it's getting a little bit too boring from my point of view.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I see Dan Ives has jumped in a little bit here. I saw your guys' video recently. I saw you giving him a bit of a butt kicking.
Yeah.
It's always good to see. One of the things that I wanted to ask you about was you mentioned earlier on about being particularly good against playing defenders. And I remember when I was in Malaysia, 2016 Malaysia, you must have been 47.
Yes.
46 or 47.
Yeah,
and
47.
Our team coach was Gianni, who was your teammate, Zhang Weizhong. And we were in the elevator, and he held the elevator because somebody was walking up, and it was you. And you had a big smile on your face, and you'd just beaten Jusei Hyuk 3-0. So even later in your career, you were still able to play really well against defensive players. And I actually remember even the US Open in 2013, you played Shiono.
Yes.
And a lot of my friends were like, Shiono's won the Japan Open and he's playing really well right now. I said, yeah, but he hasn't played Zoki before. It's a different battle. I always just remember you being really, really consistent. And do you think that was really the key for you, was just being able to keep on going?
Yeah, I mean, everyone has his style of playing against defense. I have a style that I was very consistent. I played many top spins on the table, big variation of the spin. Sometimes I put a lot of spin, sometimes no spin. Especially I can imitate the same movement with my forehand with a lot of spin, and many choppers that didn't see there is no spin, and after often they chop in the net. And this was my way how to play against them, and also many of the players, they want to kill the chopper left and right. And my goal is always to make them front and back, because they are not so good when they move front and back.
Yeah.
Left and right, they practice so much, and this was some kind of tactic I always said. And I always said to my head, when it was the crucial points, I always said, I can make more spin than you can make chop. And this was my goal. Yeah, and then that was like, okay, I come to your backhand, especially with the long pimples, say, okay, important points, okay, let's go. I can make more spins than you can chop. And in the end, I mean, it was always the case that they missed in the end, because they felt that I will not miss. And they got nervous. But you have to be physically strong to play this kind of game.
Yeah. I do remember seeing quite a lot of videos of you playing defenders and just topspin forever. Never-ending topspin.
Never-ending story, yeah.
Lost my headphone. All right, what other questions do we have? We've got some people saying hello. TT Museum, who has your shirt in his collection. He's got mine as well. Fantastic. We've had a couple of good questions. What else have you guys got? Come on, you guys must have questions. You have about 10 minutes left. Hey, there we go. Adrian Cressan.
Whoa.
He's come back a week later. I had a really good Instagram live with him last week.
Nice photo. He looks serious, huh?
Yeah.
With the bow tie, yeah. Wow. This is from the marriage.
Yeah. What is the most important key point to teach a forehand topspin? Oh, that's tough. That's all you. I don't want anything to do with that question. That's for you.
There are many important things, many important key points for forehand topspin. Let's say it's people see only the end of the wrist, and there are many things you have to be aware of the topspin. First, from your feet, after you have a hip, and then after you have your shoulder, elbow, then you have a wrist, and also in the end you have a finger. That means it's like a wipe, It's like a wipe.
Yeah.
You produce the power from your legs, but in the end the biggest power is in your wipe. In the end, in your wrist, even in your fingers. It's very important that before they teach us to put your left leg in front of the right hand, if I'm right-hander, and for you it's opposite.
Yeah.
But now the players are taking balls so early, they are playing so close. That means now you should play almost parallel. You should have a parallel legs when you play even forehand. It's a little bit disadvantage when you are a little bit away from table, but near the table you don't have time to combine with backhand and forehand. It's very important that you repeat a lot. Technique, it's very important. That means you should use your legs, your hip, your stomach muscles, not to play only with the hand. This is most important, that you feel the balance with the whole body, and the repetition.